Signora Rechi, se non è troppo impegnata perché non mi accompagna su?
Va bene.
Cushioned with wealth and all the pleasures in the world, the film opens with the scenes of the patriarch of the Rechi family, Edoardo Sr., who is planning to announce his retirement at his birthday party and hand control of his renowned textiles empire to his only son Tancredi and Tancredi's son Edoardo Jr. The wealthy Rechi family are first and second generation textile manufacturers in Milan. Tancredi is married to a Russian woman, Emma, whom he met in Russia and instantly married out of love. The couple has birthed 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. Their firstborn son goes by the name Edoardo Jr., who happens to be very attractive. Elisabetta is their daughter, who is an art student and shockingly queer. Their lastborn son goes by the name Gianluca. He has no business in the film, other than filling space while dining. Tancredi and his wife Emma are hosting a formal dinner party for Tancredi's ill but still formidable father, Edoardo Sr., initiator of their family business. As multiple servants bustle about, the family notes with disappointment the news that Edoardo Jr. lost a horse riding competition from his friend Antonio on the very exact day of his grandfather's birthday. Edoardo's loss is not appreciated by any. Edoardo arrives from that competition, having informed the family that he has invited a girlfriend, Eva, belonging to a prominent background, the Ugolini family. Eva is the love of Edoardo, whom he plans to marry. Loyal and charming men like Edoardo are desperately needed in our society. Edoardo Jr.'s young adult siblings complain of yet again being served with yuca at a special event like this. Contrary to the younger ones, yuca is Edoardo Jr.'s favorite dish. It is a special soup his mother, Emma, has made for him since childhood. Emma is a housewife who loves cooking for her family, despite getting the services of the world's top-notch chefs. Emma's fond of developing her recipes. As the kids are complaining, Edoardo Sr. gets everyone's attention and announces he is passing the family business to his son, Tancredi, who has long worked with him, and to Edoardo Jr., which is quite unexpected and unfortunate. Since it is a new occurrence no one was expecting to hear from their patriarch, everyone is slightly baffled. At the dinner, Elisabetta, who attends school in London, presents her grandfather with one of her artworks, a photograph, despite a tradition of presenting one another paintings. He is disappointed but encouraged by his glamorous wife Allegra to gloss over his disappointment. With Edoardo's old age, he has done the right thing and revealed the will before death. Later during the birthday celebration, Edoardo Jr. receives a surprise visit from Antonio, the chef who defeated him in the competition earlier that day. Antonio brings a beautiful cake as a gift and Edoardo, flattered by the gesture, introduces him to his mother. However, Emma's body language tells she is arousing feelings for her son's friend, romantically. Yikes. After the party, while Emma is running errands, she discovers a CD with a note from Elisabetta to her brother Edoardo, revealing that Elisabetta is a lesbian. She tells her brother of an encounter with a woman and that she is in love with another woman. Despite being initially shocked, Emma doesn't raise the issue with her husband. Perhaps it's a sign that their marriage lacks intimacy. Little Edoardo is seen visiting his friend Antonio, who helps his father in their family restaurant. Edoardo discusses the arrangements of a birthday party he is organizing at his place for his love Eva. Edoardo also breaks the big news that he is going to propose to Eva. Hence, he will be needing special assistance from his friend Antonio. Since Edoardo has all the property in the world and Antonio has the skills, the duo plans on opening a restaurant together on a property that Edoardo's father owns somewhere in San Remo. If that's not friend goals, then what else is? That night, Antonio comes over and helps Emma out in the kitchen and arranges a beautiful feast. Edoardo is slightly uncomfortable with how Emma and Antonio are seen standing close to each other, but chooses to ignore it. Giving her children space, Emma doesn't join the birthday party and spends the night with her husband, Tancredi, and finds out that he is planning on retrenching staff to boost profits, and that's not all. Once his father departs this world, Tancredi wants to sell the business to a brash Indian/American entrepreneur, against the wishes of the idealistic Edoardo. Tancredi also takes his son as a threat and is not appreciating his part in the will. Deep down, Tancredi knows Edoardo will not let him have his wish. Months later, Emma goes out for lunch with her family. Allegra, the stepmother-in-law, and Eduardo's girlfriend Eva. There Antonio was working and giving his father a helping hand in running their family restaurant. Knowing Emma and her family has come, Antonio prepares a very exquisite prawn meal. On taking the first bite, Emma is aroused by how good the prawn tasted. She runs out of words to compliment Antonio first, but before leaving the place, she pays special thanks to him in private and compliments the taste in his hands. Elisabetta returns to Milan with her hair cut short. She confesses to Emma about her sexuality and also shows her the picture of a girl whom she likes and has a relationship with. She invites her mother to go with her to Nice to look for a venue for her art exhibition. Elisabetta is surely going to make her parents proud one day. Emma, while talking to her daughter, constantly thinks about Antonio and his smiley face. Emma starts getting butterflies in her stomach. It's rude to say, but Emma is too old to be initiating an affair with a boy who's about her son's age. While stopping in San Remo, en route to Nice to surprise Elisabetta in her art exhibition, Emma spots Antonio, who is passing by her. Unable to leash her desires, Emma does the creepiest thing ever. She secretly starts following him. While keeping tabs on his activities, Antonio spots Emma and comes to say hi, not knowing she was stalking him like a lunatic. There, Antonio tells that he has come to San Remo to check his and Eduardo's soon-to-be restaurant venue. Emma asks to join him at his restaurant. Forgetting about her daughter and that her art exhibition ever existed, Emma goes with him, and as soon as they get in, a kiss initiated by both becomes the first move of their premises affair. Later, they go to his house in the hills above the city and mingle. Emma's actions are about to cost her a good fortune ahead. Meanwhile, Eduardo Sr. has died, and in London, Eduardo Jr. struggles as his father and other family members seek to sell a family business they inherited from Eduardo Sr. to foreign investors. Eduardo does everything in his power to stay in opposition, but gets frustrated in the way since his father has the upper hand. Hopeless, Eduardo decides to catch up with his friend Antonio, not knowing he is also being unfaithful to him. Eduardo brings along all the official papers for their restaurant, implying that they're soon going to open their dream restaurant in San Remo. While they discuss their plans, Eduardo gives Antonio the charge of catering another party that was going to take place in their home in regards to finding buyers to sell the business to. Antonio must be making a good fortune while catering their extravagant parties. When the buyers come for a meeting with the Rechi family, Eduardo tries his best to convince them to not buy it, but since all of his family members vote to sell, Eduardo loses the battle. He was fighting alone from the beginning. Eduardo then visits his sister and tells her of the future of the business and his opposition to the family's joint decision to sell the business. Even Elisabetta tells them to let go of the fever of keeping his company and focus on his restaurant. Everyone, including Elisabetta, is convinced that the money that they're going to get after selling their business will not let them die in poverty. Poor Eduardo wants to keep things as they are going, but his ravenous for money father didn't let that happen. On her second trip to San Remo, under the pretext of discussing a menu for the formal dinner she will host for the foreign investors who are buying the Rechi family business, Emma spends the day with Antonio, and the two enjoy passionate lovemaking. Emma tells Antonio how Tancredi met her during a trip to Russia hunting for art treasures. Antonio cuts Emma's blonde hair, a long lock of which falls unnoticed to the terrace. They cook together, and Emma teaches them to make ukka. Since both are passionate about cooking, they don't regret what they're doing. After cooking, they get charged and get intimate with each other. Later that day, Eduardo comes to see Antonio after he fails in a meeting in England and finds a strand of blonde hair, thinking that his mother has the same hair color. Distracted by his matters, he ignores and let go the blonde hair strand. Innocent Eduardo couldn't smell the betrayal from the hair strand. Such curse should not be wished upon one's worst enemies. On the night of the dinner at the Rechi villa for the investors, a conversation between Eduardo Jr. and Eva is overheard, revealing she is pregnant with his child. Antonio prepares ukka. When Eduardo sees this dish served, he instantly realizes his mother is having an affair with Antonio. He leaves the dinner table in a fury. Emma follows him outside to the garden, and alongside the pool, she tries to talk to him. In pulling away from Emma's outstretched hand, Eduardo loses his balance, falls, strikes his head on the edge of the pool's stone trim, and falls into the pool. He sustains a cerebral hemorrhage and dies in hospital. Eduardo didn't deserve to die a failure. He was so much more than that. At the cemetery following the funeral, Tancredi tries to console Emma. She tells him that she is in love with Antonio. He responds by telling her, "You don't exist." Emma rushes home and changes her clothes while her housekeeper helps her pack her things to leave. Before she leaves, she exchanges a knowing glance with her daughter, who appears to understand her mother's desire to follow her heart. Eva, who has hardly been noticed by Eduardo's family since his death, clutches her abdomen as she calls out to Eduardo's siblings and grandmother, revealing her pregnancy. When the family members look back into the foyer where Emma was standing, she is gone. During the final credits, Emma and Antonio are seen lying together inside a cave. Both lovebirds have started a new life, but at what cost? In our opinion, the film I Am Love has portrayed one of the best ancient aristocratic families who go through challenges that are beyond control. Overcooked with melodrama, the film is beautifully shot and superbly acted out, but other than that, the tasty dish is spoiled by hazy motivation and a highly contrived ending. Tilda Swinton's Italian and Russian accent was undeniably terrific. Luca Guadagnino, the Italian director of this film, has taken remarkable measures to put the film in order. If you are someone who can't keep up with intriguing plot lines or shocking twists and turns every other minute, I Am Love is certainly worth the shot. Please don't forget to leave us a like and subscribe. Comment below what you want to see us work on next.